Hello crafty friends and doll lovers. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Melody and I'm here to show you another project that I finished using the free pattern that was released 2 Fridays ago from the pixiefaire.com website. I'm not sponsored or affiliated with Pixie Faire. I am simply using the pattern that they make available for free. I'm using that pattern to challenge myself to, first of all, do something doll related each week. And secondly, to step outside of my comfort zone and try some things that maybe I would not have tried, but for the fact that I made this challenge and I am determined to complete it. So my goal is each week, download the pattern, make whatever it is that the pattern is designed for, and then share it with you, good, bad, or indifferent. So along those lines, I'm going to share with you the bad first. So the pattern that I made this week is this shoe pattern by Eden Ava Couture. It's a pair of espadrilles, and well, I have had some experience making doll shoes. It's not one of my favorite things to do. I think that trying to make shoes for dolls can be a little bit fiddly. It can be messy too, because of course you're using glue to stick to adhere the fabric to the sole of the shoe, and sometimes trying to get things to line up exactly right can be a challenge. So I ended up attempting this twice. Now this was my first attempt. Instead of just throwing my hands up, I decided I was going to try it again. And the way that I did it the second time, I think it worked because I did some extra things to kind of help me with the placement. One of the things I realized was that the fabric that I was using, it was I had some extra fabric left of this. I had some of this fabric here left, but the fabric was, it was too thin. It was too lightweight. So I ended up taking some interfacing, and the second pair I made, I actually applied some heat of some fusible interfacing to the fabric. So it made it a little bit, I think it gave it a little bit more body and a little bit more structure. The other thing that I did was, I'll show you. I don't have the pattern piece, but I'll show you in here. So you're cutting this fabric out, and so you have to take this flat one-dimensional fabric and you have to glue it around. You have to glue it around the base. So you're tucking under about 1/4 of an inch under. You're gluing it there before you apply this piece here. What I essentially did was I went ahead and used my sewing machine and I stitched around. I stitched 1/4 of an inch all the way around on this piece here. So instead of trying to eyeball and get it, let me see. Oh gosh, that's stuck on here. I was trying to see if I could pull it apart so I could show you, and it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna work. But what I essentially did was I used the stitching as a guide to line it up with the sole, the inner sole of the insole of the pattern piece. And then I tucked the seam allowance under, and as a result, I think I got a much better result. So I'm going to show you the finished, take her off of the, so here are the finished shoes. Not bad. I think this is one of those, some hot glue there. I think this is one of those things that the more you do it, the better you get at it. Like with most things, but I think if I were to keep practicing, I would probably feel more comfortable with the shoes. But you can see here, if I can get it to focus, it's not gonna focus. Why not? I guess because my face is in it. Let me see. Still not working. I'm gonna take it off the doll. All right, so this made a big difference to use the seam, to sew the seam allowance around the bottom, the base. So this is the right shoe, and this is the first attempt. Let's see if I can hold this. This is the first attempt, and this is the second attempt. But I think that, okay, and if you look at this one here, I wish you could see it. I'm having a hard, maybe I'll insert a picture so you can see what I'm talking about, but there is a lot of folds. And it just didn't go on as smoothly. So I basically basted a 1/4 of an inch. I used a basting stitch, and I sewed a 1/4 of an inch, and then I used that basting stitch to kind of help I guess ease, to help ease out some of the extra fabric. And then from there, I folded the fabric under. So I think I got a much better result. And I have 2 shoes that actually look similar. And the other thing I did was I just cut some strips of fabric on the bias, and I just pulled them, and I'm using these as the ties. And I also, instead of using purchased, what's it called? Single fold bias tape, I actually made my own single fold bias tape using the same fabric that the shoe is made from. So I enjoyed the process of working out or figuring out how to do it better. So the pattern didn't tell you to do some of the things that I ultimately ended up doing to get this to work for me. This week, this past Friday, Pixie Faire made 2 patterns available for free. And I'm excited because it's going to be a challenge. One in particular, I shared with you before, I believe that I also knit. I have done some crochet. I prefer to knit, but the pattern that they released this past Friday is a crochet pattern. And I don't know how to use, I did not know how to, I've never used a crochet pattern, so I'm not familiar with how to read a crochet pattern. But I'm so glad that YouTube exists, and all you have to do is search it, and someone will show you how to do whatever it is that you don't know how to do. So this is the pattern, this cute little Becky bunny. It says it's designed by Plushico, and it is a crochet skill level easy to intermediate, and I'm glad because I am probably more of a beginner, crocheter. So this is the first pattern that I'm going to be working on this week. It is a amigurumi crochet pattern, and I was able to find some videos about crocheting amigurumi, and I'm going to share with you what I have so far. So first of all, this is the yarn that I'm using. It's Bernat. Oops, that was my crochet hook. Sorry about that. It's Bernat Baby Blanket. It is a super bulky. So it's a super bulky. It's rated as a 6, and of course that is not going to focus for me. So it's a super bulky. Let's try. Okay, there you go. It's a super bulky yarn. And I'm going to show you what I have. So I finished one ear and I'm working on the second ear. And here is the ear. Now this looks huge. I didn't do any type of um, I didn't do any type of gauge swatch. I just it called for a size 11 needle hook. It calls for a size 11 hook. I got a size 11 hook and I started crocheting, but this is huge. Now the pattern says that the measurements are approximately 9 inches in height or 23 centimeters in height, with ears 20.8 inches or 53 centimeters. And this is almost 20 inches by itself. So I don't know if they meant ears up or ears down, or I don't know. Maybe with the ears down, it will end up being about 20 inches. But this looks huge. And I have started on the second ear. So I'm going to be working on this probably some more today. It says it takes 2.5 to 4 hours. I'm guessing it's probably going to take me closer to 4 hours because I'm not familiar with many of the terms and the instructions that are in the pattern. I wish it was a knit pattern. I wouldn't have any problem, but this is crochet, and this is a reason why, one of the reasons why I decided to take this personal challenge, because I would maybe have downloaded the pattern because it was available for free for future use. But by doing a challenge like this, it forces me to step outside of my comfort zone, to not put it off for the future or for someday in the future. It makes me do it now. And I am learning so much, and I am getting so much I'm so proud of myself because I'm figuring it out, between watching YouTube videos, doing internet researches, and just taking my time and really paying attention. I'm actually figuring out how to do things that I didn't know how to do before now. So I am really tickled, and I'm very excited to see how this turns out. I'm gonna take my time, and hopefully next week I'll be showing you a completed bunny rabbit. So that was one of them. And while I'm talking about taking the challenge, I hope that some of you who have been watching this series that I've been doing, I hope that you have considered joining me as well. Dig out those patterns that you purchased but haven't used, or sign up to get the free pattern from Pixie Faire and sew those patterns. Even if you are not a doll collector, and even though you don't sew for dolls, I think that learning to sew by sewing doll clothes is probably one of the best ways you can learn, because if you mess up, you haven't spent a lot of money. If you decide that you don't really like sewing, you haven't spent a lot of money, and then it's a small enough project that you can basically finish it in a small amount of time, get a finished item. You can get a doll, you can practice measuring the doll and figuring out how to alter the pattern if it needs to be altered for that particular doll. And then most of the things that you will encounter in making doll clothes are transferred. Most of the skills that you gain by making doll clothes can be transferable to making clothes for yourself or for your children or grandchildren or your loved ones. So I think sewing doll clothes is probably one of the best ways, in my opinion, to start learning how to sew. If you do decide to join me, please leave a comment. Come back to me every week and share with me what you've done. I have a Facebook page and an Instagram page. Both are by the name of My Doll December. You can leave a comment on my Facebook page. If you're able to attach a photo of what you're working on, do that. And also on Instagram, if you have an Instagram account, if you post a picture of what you're working on and tag me and use the I'll insert it, but it's Freebie Friday Challenge. That's the hashtag that I'm using to for all of the posts that I make on Instagram related to this challenge. So I hope you will join me. And okay, I did say there was a second one. Now this one is the Ladybug Doll Quilts Patch Play. And this is the pattern. And so I have I picked out 5 fabrics that I'm going to use to make this pattern. So I'm going to share those with you now. I'm so excited because I love these pattern pieces. I love these fabrics. Love, love, love these fabrics. So this, and I got all of these from Joann Fabric. So I'm going to use this floral piece. I'm pretty sure I'm going to use it as what they refer to as a novelty block. I'm probably going to use it here. And then, let's see. I think that for this 9 patch block here, I'm thinking I'm going to use these 2 fabrics. So I have this red and this blue fabric. And then for the sashing, I think I'm going to use this yellow fabric. And then you can't really see it here. This might be a better photo. There's a section here and one at the top. And you can see it better here. This section here, there's one at on this end of the quilt and at the foot of the quilt as well. I'm planning to use this fabric. So I have a lot of work to do this week if I am going to meet my goal of having these 2 projects finished by next Sunday, so I can get it, or before next Sunday, so that I can record a video and upload the finished project. I'm really excited about this one because I've been wanting to quilt, to learn to get better at it. I don't consider myself a quilter, although I have made a few quilts, but I wanted to get into that a little bit more. Last week I shared with you that I was kind of out of sorts. I've been going through this grief journey. If there is a silver lining to my cloud, it's the fact that I feel like I've been blessed with many gifts and I'm able to use them to refine them. So it's keeping me busy so that my mind doesn't go into bad places. So it really does help me to have made a commitment to do something each week so that I can share it with you all. And I will be honest, sometimes knowing that I made the commitment is what keeps me going when I start feeling really low. So I'm glad that I do have my crafts for this. And I think I said that in the last video. And I'm getting real excited because now I am learning how to do things better. You know, this challenge is making me pull out tools, use tools, take the time to learn how to do things that I've been wanting to do, but for whatever reason I haven't had the time, maybe not the patience. But I think when you give yourself a deadline and when you are accountable to someone else, it makes you get things done that maybe you wouldn't have otherwise done. I feel like that I do procrastinate a lot. So this is keeping me from procrastinating because I made the commitment. And although I know you don't know me personally, I feel that because I made the commitment my goal is to try to have something to share with you all, and I'm really hoping that someone listening to this video will be inspired to do the same thing. And it may not be with knitting or sewing or whatever, but it may be something else that you've been putting on, or something that maybe you've been afraid to try. Just, what's the worst thing that can happen? You end up having to do it over because you messed it up the first time, or it didn't turn out well. It's not the end product is not really usable. But the amount of education that we get just by attempting, just by, maybe it's something you're not familiar with, go research it. Find a YouTube video, go on the internet. Someone's probably blogged about it. And then take it a step further. If you go looking and you can't find the solution, but you figure out the solution, then blog about it, share it, put it on your Instagram, put it on your social media pages, do a video, YouTube, share it. Because if you struggled with it and trying to figure out the solution, how to get something done, then chances are there's at least one other person on this earth who's also had that struggle, and you're making that video or sharing the knowledge that you learned could be a blessing to somebody else. So I hope this video wasn't too long. If you stuck with me till this point, thank you so much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below, share, and most of all, subscribe. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.